What it do, what it do. Welcome to round 2. I am Raven Klein.
I'm Ella Hansen.
And we are here with our FPO lead card for the Discraft Great Lakes Open. Day 2. Beautiful weather. Yeah. I'm excited.
It's going to be a good one. Really clear skies. We got a fun lead card for you. Paige Pierce, Catrina Allen, Emily Beach, and Valerie Mandujano. Paige and Catrina both have won this tournament a few times. Emily Beach is the points leader for Rookie of the Year this year, and obviously Val has had a lot of success this year. Starting out with hole 1, it's a par 3, 516 feet. It's the second most difficult hole on the course for the FPO. We've got out of bounds on the left, rough on the right, elevated basket. It's a big turnover shot for a backhand. You might see some forehands as well. One of the main dangers is pulling it a little too wide, going a little too straight, and hyzering out, or even cut rolling if you turn it over a little too much.
Team first, from Pensacola, Florida, Paige Pierce.
Sounds like a pretty solid crowd out here.
It definitely looked like one today. I love seeing the hill just lined with spectators.
Yeah, that's a nice spot to be.
Looking like a great rip from Paige. And this is that cut roller that Ella was talking about. Oh, wait a second.
Gotta look. He doesn't know.
Oh, he's not sure.
That's yeah, they're just. Oh man.
It's never fun after you throw your disc and you can see them staring at it and they're not giving you a flag.
Katrina hyzered out a little.
Late fade though.
Yesterday, that looks pretty good. Oh man. That's the same thing pretty much yesterday. Looked really good, just didn't get quite enough turn.
Team next, from Ninnekah, Oklahoma, Emily Beach.
I'm excited to see how Emily attacks these holes because clearly she shot well, but you know, we don't have that many lefties out here. So this is more of a straightforward shot for her, just a backhand hyzer. That looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. So she might have some stuff like in her way. I don't know if she'll be able to be taller than those bushes on her putt, but she is closest so far.
Mandujano.
That one's looking nice, just flatten out on the hill.
All right.
If you turn it over and you can at least get the disc to land by that long grass, your curl should stay in bounds.
Yeah.
Should be a fairly simple approach shot for Valerie. Leaving it a little bit short, but we've all seen her make putts from that distance.
You can kind of see, but that elevated basket is also on top of a little elevated ridge, which just makes it that little bit scarier.
Paige pushes her upshot deep, but she'll still be inside of the circle.
Maybe pitch up for Catrina. Oh, so Val was outside the circle, cashing the putt, saving the par on hole 1. So Emily's in those bushes. Looks like she has a gap, though.
Oh, beautiful. A birdie there from Emily. That's a great start.
One of only 2 birdies on the day. Missy Gannon also got the other one.
And a solid putt from Paige to get her par and start off the round. Catrina taps in her bogey, and we move on to the next hole. Hole 2, we have a par 4, 426 feet. You go straight uphill, basically until you get to the circle. Anything that you can do to be in the center of this fairway and set up for slightly better footing. Your second shot is going to be potentially more of like a hyzer. If you play toward the right trees, you have a good chance of just scooting up next to the basket, but it's always a little bit further than you think. Emily getting a hold of that one and turning it over way too much. She's going to be struggling to get out on that left side because the footing is bad and there are some branches in the way.
Stay there.
It's not ideal, but I think she'll be all right. There's kind of a flat spot on the top of that ridge, which she might be on.
This play here from Valerie is what I've found to be the most effective, is just throwing something a little bit more stable along the right side of the fairway and letting it float back to the middle.
Yeah. Those side hills really help prevent you from going into that left side rough or right side rough if you are throwing more of the hyzer play.
And a smooth shot from Catrina.
So it looks like Emily's just looking to pitch out.
With this one being a par 4, she'll still be able to save the par fairly easily. Early release there from Valerie, finding herself in the rough on the left.
And that's a miss for Val that comes from running up the hill on her run up. It's really challenging to hit your line on the uphill, but Kat does it pretty easily.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of players shorten their run up and take shorter steps, or even choosing to do a standstill. And they lose some power, but they gain a little bit of accuracy.
Looks like Emily ended up just short, right at the top of the hill there. Wow.
Great shot from Paige, getting
Beautiful.
herself right inside the bullseye. That's one thing nice about Paige's power, is that she might have been in the rough, but she got far enough up the fairway that for a standstill, she can still get to the pin. Oh. It's a nice run from Emily.
Solid putt from Val for a par.
I love the wall of people.
That's pretty awesome.
Catrina cashing the putt for birdie. And Paige as well.
Hole 3 is a par 5, 915 feet, going down the hill, thick rough on the left and the right out of the gap, and then it flattens out. There's still OB lining the entire left side. As it flattens out, it widens a little bit, and most players will be getting around into this area. This grip 6 wall is not out of bounds, but that will be where the second shot is, and then just a pitch up. Ideally for a birdie, there might be some eagle looks if we get some mashes off the drives.
I'm glad I waited. It looked almost like an early release, but, you know, Paige obviously knows her disc better than I do, and it had that great late turn.
Yeah, I think that's probably a little lower than Paige wants, but staying in the fairway is not a bad thing on this hole.
Ooh, and the hard thing about this hole is this right side. You want to use that part of the fairway, but if you turn your disc over, you might not get that disc back, I think is the best way I can say it.
Yeah. Val's turning early as well, but
Stays high enough, though, to maybe get out. No.
got a lot further down than Catrina, but that's going to be a tough spot.
The trouble with this tee shot is you want to try and punch like that, but if you don't give it enough and you hyzer out, you contend with the OB on the left side.
And this is a great shot from Emily.
Really letting it rip. Now, she gets further than Valerie did down the fairway, but she still finds herself in the rough on the right, but hers is going to be the easiest to recover.
Uh-oh.
That was the second shot from Catrina. And she makes her way out to the fairway. Now with Catrina's power from there, she still might be able to save her par. That was the second shot from Valerie.
Catrina pushing those right side trees, but a beautiful shot just outside the circle with a chance to save par.
Oh, nice shot. Terry, find my disc.
What?
Oh my God.
A wild Terry Miller spotted up on the green.
Wow. So standstill approach from Emily.
That's a great
Full
shot.
power. Curling
Wow.
into the circle. That was an amazing shot from a standstill. So much power generated for Emily.
Here's Valerie's third shot.
Be nice. Be nice.
Getting herself just inside circle 2.
Seeing a lot of trees throwing out discs on this hole.
Wow. Nice scramble shot from Paige.
Valerie from 2. Oh. It's a good bid.
Yeah. So here's Catrina just outside the circle to save her par after an errant tee shot. Oh.
Man. It's dropping a little low.
She really does not miss left or right. It's either on the band or on the cage.
And a birdie putt from Paige.
That's one of the interesting things about a hole like this, being so far downhill. Wow. Okay.
Emily Beach with the eagle.
It can be eagled, But it also can be really, really challenging, and it's easy to get caught up in the rough.
Is that a par for Valerie?
Yeah.
So we just had an eagle, a birdie, a par, and a bogey on the same card of the same hole.
Shout out to Stacy Ronsley for grabbing the other eagle on the day.
And we'll check in on our leaderboard here. Sneaking up into that top spot is Natalie Ryan. She is going 3 through 4 to start her day. But you can see Paige, Catrina, Emily, and Valerie still holding on to that top part of the board.
Yeah.
We move on to hole 4, par 4, 508 feet. You can see a roller on this play, a hyzer along the right side, which will contend with a couple of the trees the drone is passing now. But ideally, you want to either flip something up and get yourself into this middle portion. You can be a little bit left, allowing yourself for a hyzer approach, but right down the gut is favorable. You have a couple low trees to get up there, and then the hill behind the basket. So even if you hit the ground and slide up, you could slide right over and be 40 feet down the hill. Turn, maybe.
Wow.
Nice
Shot.
Beautiful shot from Emily. A little pinched off with those trees there, but she should have an angle up to the green.
Paige threw the roller yesterday, so I'm excited to see it again.
Stand up.
That's fine.
A little bit too much cut for Paige, but being in that grass, she should have some sort of backhand hyzer approach.
This is my favorite shot.
Wow.
Just right up the middle. And although there are trees in front of her, you still have a pretty good look from anywhere in the center of the fairway.
Yeah, the trees are sparse enough that there's gaps. Catrina with the
There it
roller
is.
as well. Getting way down there. That might be a little pinched off.
I expect some type of maybe patent pending backhand. Just something she can float up. Valerie going right up the gut and sliding, but getting caught by those trees in a good way.
Giving that a little too much power, yanks it a bit and catches a tree.
Sends her rolling back down the hill. Paige was a little bit pinched off, and her hyzer wasn't able to get all the way back to the fairway. She should still be able to save that par.
There is that patent pending. Unfortunately, just a couple inches too wide. Kicks into the rough on the left side.
Good shot.
Nice salvage there from Emily, putting herself under the basket.
And Catrina just pitching up out of the rough. So Val with the only real shot at a birdie. Got it.
Beautiful putt from Valerie.
I'll start off her round with a couple of really big putts. So pars for everybody else. Birdie from Valerie.
It was important for me to partner with a retailer that could help with growing my brand and making my products available all over the country and across the world. Flight Factory has helped me accomplish that. Check out all of my gear and thousands of other discs at Flight Factory.
If you want to be the best, you win world.
It doesn't happen to a lot of people, and when it does, it's huge.
Your belt can only expand and contract in inch-long increments. Your belt is either too loose or too tight. That's why Grip 6 belts don't have holes. Enjoy infinitely smooth sliding action that perfectly adjusts to your specific waistline at the speed of taco.
Got hole 5 coming up. It's a par 3, 480 feet. This is the most difficult hole for the FPO field. Going downhill through this tunnel. Trees on the left and the right. If you don't hit your line right down the middle, you could be kicking into a place you don't want to go. This stump we're just passing kind of seems to block a lot of shots, even though it's not that big, but getting up into this green will take a really, really impressive shot. There is a little bit of OB behind the basket, but it shouldn't come into play for the FPO.
That's a great tree kick there for Valerie. You'll see quite a few players either taking a slightly less stable, like a fairway driver, and flipping it up so that they can use all of the fairway and then get their final fade back in by that stump that Ella was talking about. But it is not an easy shot to execute.
Stay.
Oh, wow. Paige throwing basically the same shot she did yesterday. Nice and smooth, getting that full subtle flex down the middle of the fairway. That looks
That's
great.
looking beautiful.
Wow.
I see a lot of that type of shot as well, where you have a little bit more stability. If you're on the left side up by the basket, Catrina is wide in the open. Oh, that's a bummer. But sometimes you'll get a bigger flare and you might not have a clear shot for the 2, but very easy to salvage your 3.
Now making a nice play around the tree that Emily hit.
Emily trying to save the par. Putting that long, it is a slightly downslope for this green.
Paige doesn't like it out of her hand, hits cage right. Trying to fix that stroke. Oh, man.
Finding a lot of cage today on the putts. That's a par for Valerie. Emily trying to save her bogey. Makes good on the putt.
And a par for Paige. And it will be a par for Catrina as well.
Yeah, there were no birdies on the hole today.
This is a tough one.
Moving on, we have hole 6, a par 4, 419 feet. Most players are going to throw a slightly slower disc that is stable, that can hook up right into this patch that the drone is flying over, and that'll set you up either for a backhand turnover into the green or possibly a forehand that pushes a little bit further. You just want to avoid under pushing it and sliding down the hill or not making the hill. There are a lot of trees to contend with if you don't perfect your upshot.
Val pulling that wide. That's going to be tough to get up and down from there.
Paige going a little bit too straight, not really getting the turn that she needs. So it's tough to say what she's got to look at from there.
This is a tough hole because I think to get to the ideal position, you really want to throw a stable to understable putter on hyzer and let it kind of glide out. But as we saw with Paige and Val, if you don't put it on enough hyzer, it definitely does not go where you want. Emily.
Now, this is a play we don't see a lot, but I do see benefit to. If you push past the landing zone into the gully, you have to go uphill, but you have less trees to contend with.
Yeah, and this hole is short enough that being down in the having the bad footing and the just having the bad footing makes it not quite as bad because it's a shorter approach.
Paige is just sitting under a vine there, and she underdoes that shot really and catches some trees and kicks her left across the gully. That's going to be a far putt, but being on flat ground gives her an advantage already.
Okay, that's better than I intended. Around the green? Around the green.
Yeah, great scramble shot there from Paige.
Emily having to break through some branches there. Still low on the hill, but she should be able to see the basket now.
And we saw what Val's disc did. It looked like it was going to get up to the basket, but that side slope can really hold you back. You really got to get up on top of it.
There it is. Catrina with the birdie.
Wow.
From deep.
Great scramble for birdie. She threw a really challenging patent pending to get up into that position. And that's got to feel good. She's had a couple of low misses.
It was dead center.
Just getting it up over the rim, smacking those chains. Beautiful putt. Uh-oh.
Ugh.
Not what Paige wants. One of the most treacherous greens on this course. Paige with a long comebacker for bogey.
Oof. The strokes on this hole kind of sneak up on you. When you're sitting there and you're just going up these hills, and then you feel like your next shot shouldn't have to be uphill again, but because of the green or a roll away, you're just at the back at the bottom of the hill. So that's going to be a 6 for Paige on this hole. Getting her double bogey, and she is ready to move on. Emily with the par.
Our whole lead card back to 7 down. Moving on to hole 7. It's a par 4, 538 feet. Hitting this fairway, going up the hill, landing in this approximate area off the tee shot. And it's a bit of a challenging upshot. Like the last hole, we kind of had this green sloping down to the left into the rough. And those trees on the right can be really challenging. Most players looking to throw some sort of backhand hyzer approach, and you really have to push those trees to get up to the basket.
That's a great shot from Catrina.
Using the full width of the fairway, putting herself into a perfect position.
Because of the angle of the tee pad and this tree that you can see right away on the right side of the fairway, It almost looks like a lot of players go for an Annie on something a little bit more stable. So then the common error that we see is catching the trees on the right side or overturning it. That was a nice shot from Valerie. She'll have more of a hyzer approach.
Emily playing way wide with the backhand. I think just a little straighter than she wanted. That's going to be a challenging lefty backhand from that spot. I think that's a little wider than Paige may have wanted, but I think she also likes to be on the left side.
That's looking like a great shot from Paige. So she probably just slid a little bit on the side of that hill, but it looked like she cleared all the rough.
Yeah, getting out of the rough is half the battle on this hole.
Emily throwing a right-handed
forehand
shot.
Okay. I was like, it looks normal, but
Catrina really set up in the best position.
Wow.
For this straight up shot. She finds herself within 10 feet.
That's a great shot.
That's how you cut up this hole.
Val is a little pinched off, having to play this skip shot. Executes it very well. So Emily's back to the lefty.
Nice. Just scoot up right by Kat's disc. Birdie for Valerie. And now we can finally see where Paige's disc ended up. She is inside the circle. Missing just left on that birdie putt. And that'll be a par for Paige.
Emily snagging a par as well. Catrina tapping in a birdie. Beautifully played for her.
Moving on, we have hole 8, par 4, 390 feet. Off the tee, there's a tree that's to the left, and so it kind of encroaches on a bigger backhand Annie. But you'll see a lot of players throwing the forehand off the tee, just trying to get around that tree that was in the center. Anywhere in this area allows you for a fairly simple approach and a tap-in birdie. This is the easiest hole on the course for our field, so I'm excited to see what this card does.
Catrina playing a wide flip up, kind of similar position to where she was yesterday, but as we saw, it's not too bad to be in the rough on the left or in the tall grass. It's not really rough.
Yeah, a common mistake is to find yourself in the tree, so it's a much safer and easier play to just shoot straight a little bit longer, go past the tree, because then you actually line up with the basket. Gets past the tree. That's
Wow.
a pump from Paige. So the error to make is to go in the long grass.
It's like Emily. Yeah.
Great shot. You can see it's very open over here. versus if you were to fall underneath the tree, those branches and everything on the right just comes into play way too fast.
Catrina with a smooth upshot as well. Paige, she's trying to throw that one in for sure. Right on line, but a little short.
Catrina with the first birdie. Emily with the second.
Paige with the third.
And Valerie rounding out that star frame.
We've got hole 9 to finish out the front 9. It's a par 3, 472 feet. This is a new hole from last year. Don't want to hyzer out left. There's some stuff you don't want to be in, and you really don't want to be to the right. Most players will be either throwing a stable disc out wide or trying to hyzer flip something down the middle.
Why are there people walking in our fairway?
That is a good question, Paige.
Yeah.
Catrina turning it over a little bit. The flight looked nice, but just pushing it a little to the right. Might be a tough spot over there, but she might have a gap up to the basket.
There isn't good amount of airspace to the right after this first patch of leaves that you can see. So if you swing something more stable and you don't get a major skip,
Oh,
that's a good tree. You can find yourself in a good spot. Oh, come on, get stable.
Emily has some serious power. Just turning that one over a little bit.
Oh, be right.
That's nice.
Be right. Be good. Be right.
Wow. Scaring the basket a little bit from Paige. That would be a pretty sick ace.
That would be very cool. So Catrina over on that right side, there are some big bushes that she just threw that over. So very likely that she could not see the basket. Emily giving that a big push, but because of that force, definitely not letting it hyzer out as much as she wanted to.
Paige trying to throw that one in as well. I think Paige is trying to throw everything in, but
Always.
it's fun to watch.
It's the name of the game.
Valerie for the birdie.
Oh,
Man.
that's a nice bid.
Emily snags herself a par.
Looks like it'll be just a bunch of pars here on hole 9. Everyone giving it a nice run, though. And Valerie finalizing it. So 4 pars for hole 9. There was only 1 birdie on that hole today, and that was from Rebecca Cox. So
Sweet birdie for her.
it was.
Checking in on the front 9 scores. Val with a clean 3 down. Catrina at 2 down, a couple bogeys early. And then Emily with that eagle.
Yeah, making that really nice. 2 down for her. And then Paige, only 1 down because of an unfortunate hole. But it's a nice battle. And we've got Natalie Ryan holding strong on that. So she's 6 down through 9 still. Valerie moving up into that second spot, tied with Catrina. And we see a couple other solid scores here from Owen, Kat, and Sarah Holcomb, all with a 3 down for the round so far. Oh, and Macy Valadias.
Yeah. Sweet playing. Fun watching the front 9 with you all. Thank you to the FPO VIP members for supporting this coverage. I'm Ella Hansen.
I'm Raven Klein.
Thank you for watching. See you on the back nine.